going live, and you are live. What is going on, everybody? RogersBase here with my live reaction to One Piece manga chapter 1154. I am supremely excited for today's chapter, mostly due to the fact that I was warned back on Tuesday that I gotta stay off the internet. People were saying that spoilers were everywhere for this one. I know so many people that got spoiled that all told me and reached out and said, Roger, please stay off Twitter, stay off social media. And as you guys know, I've been busy. Obviously, Donkey Kong week is coming up. I've got my other videos coming out. So I was like, I have other stuff to work on. I just won't stream this week and I'll avoid spoilers. And turns out it was a good idea, because now I'm going into this chapter unspoiled, despite the fact that people were telling me they were getting spoiled up to Tuesday. So shout out once again to my amazing community for not spoiling me, for keeping me out of the loop. Thank you very, very much. And I don't want to get spoiled now, so we're going to jump right into this. So we are going to get started. I think the chapter's already on Viz. It better be. I even waited an hour so people can read the chapter. Here we go. One Piece manga chapter 1154. And this one is titled Can't Even Die. Okay. All right. I don't know what the heck people are hyping up, but this is going to be good. All right. Ogre Child Yamato's Golden Harvest Surrogate Pilgrimage, Volume 38. Go and pay your respects at the grave of the hero, born in the West Blue and raised in Ringo. Okay. It still is amazing to me that we're on volume 38 of this and we're still not at Old Wano Country. We're getting closer at least, which is good. And also, hello? I don't know what the heck that was. I don't know why there was a Donkey Kong sound effect that went off, but thank you very much. I don't know. That was crazy. But someone must become a member or something. I'll answer all members and super chats and everything after I'm done with the chapter. As you can see, my alerts are off right now because I don't want to be spoiled. So thank you very much. That was crazy. I had the Donkey Kong alert. Anyway, okay. 1154. Here we go. Can't even die. Oh. People are, you're good. You're good. Right from the first page, you're good. I've been saying this is what I wanted. Very good. 63 years ago, I'm seeing a young Big Mom. I'm seeing a young Big Mom. All right, here we go. Picking up from the Loki's curse stuff. 63 years ago, the partner of Chief Jarl, the oldest of the giants today, Beardfall Jarl, was killed by a young girl. And you can see everyone screaming, Chief Jarl, as the whole village is on fire. The girl, a half-human... I read that wrong. A human, half destroyed an entire giant village. I almost read that like a half human. What is that? No. A human half destroyed an entire giant village. Her name was Charlotte Linlin. Oh, I'm so excited. Dude, this is going to be good. And she would later be known as Big Mom, Emperor of the Sea. And you got creepy Linlin going on a tantrum with the drool coming down. As it happened, in that very same year, Elbaf was afflicted by disaster after disaster, fires, gales, and cold snaps that affected their crops, and poor fishing hauls as a result of the extreme weather that brought this normally fertile land to the brink of starvation. Really good shots there too, of the weird like wintertime Elbaf and the cold snap and everyone getting frozen over with frostbite. You see? It's because of the child. The kingdom is now under its curse because you didn't kill it like I told you to. And the other giants are like, surely that's a coincidence, but man, his mom is still in her deepest of hatred for poor little baby Loki. Meanwhile, Loki's pushing through, climbing his way up from the brink, from the underground. What is this? It's looking at me, and you can see Loki pushing through the door. Kick it out. Don't let that monster near me ever again. The whole castle is even on its side. Prince Loki, you mustn't approach your mother's chamber. Wow, so they really did go down and get him afterwards then. Wow. Put out the beast's eyes, or this country will be ruined. It's all under a curse. Poor Loki, bro. I swear, I even said this during the last chapter when we got the stuff with Loki as a baby, but like, getting thrown off a cliff from the second that you were born. By the way, shout out to James with that amazing thumbnail last week. Throwing him right off the cliff. Insane, insane, insane work. Let me also move this over here too, so I got a nice full screen over here. But all right, here we go, here we go, here we go. Okay, let us continue. Prince Loki, you mustn't approach your mother's chambers. Okay. I'm hungry. I'm sorry, sweetie. That was the last loaf of bread we had. Should we go reading? It would be easy to take from the humans. Well, that's part of Elbaf's history, isn't it? Don't be a fool. Elbaf has always fought with pride. Well, that's just the story that we tell ourselves. So they're all trying to cope the best way they can while they're in the cold snap. The Huntsman village is attacking us. Them? They've taken out other villages too. Grab your weapons and don't let them pillage us. It was at this time that Elbaf had little internal cohesion and cooperation, so everyone's fighting with each other. Civil wars were not uncommon. Well, we knew it was called Warland, so that's not a huge surprise. With the desperate food situation, the fighting only grew worse, and many died. The country was plunged into chaos, and over time, the people grew sick within their hearts. And you got the other old giant over here saying, from what I heard, the prince in the castle is accursed. Now, hang on. Meanwhile, we got young Harudin over here, and they're screaming for him. Harudin, your brother has put a curse on this land, and he's trying to kill it. You're his brother, so you must be a sacrifice. What? Gonna sacrifice poor little... Baby Harudin's like, I don't even know the kid. What are you doing? He's like, what are you doing, man? I'm over here living with his first wife, with the first mother. Like, what is this? Why? My son's the sweetest, cutest boy in the entire world. And that means he's got to live to be the oldest boy in the world. Interesting. Shut up, Ida. You had no right to seduce Harold like that. Outsider, this is insane. They really are going after each other. You shut up. Love has no borders. And meanwhile, is Harudin about to kill this old man too? Don't touch my mom! And you can see him holding this giant stick. Oh, but another fist. Bro! Harold! Don't make me pound you. King Harold. What in the world? And he's screaming and Ida's screaming. Why do you turn on one another, my brethren? Your Majesty. In the same breath that I heard about the birth of Loki, I learned that my kingdom was suffering from starvation. I went at once to the countries with which we have ties, and without a single word, they went and loaded up their ships with massive piles of food. Each human has but a tiny body, but they banded together country after country and brought enough food to fill our giant bellies. So let us be grateful for their aid. Let us savor the food that they've brought for us. And you can see all of them sailing on in. Okay. So this is obviously how the stuff is going to get tied in with the world government then. We're here, Harold. How do we dock at the island? It's enormous. Also, Gyahaha. Over in the little speech bubble over there. Interesting. When they in turn need our help, let us give it freely. The world we've lived in is so much smaller than the real thing. Okay, interesting. And this is obviously going to be when the help is needed. You're going to have the world government essentially be like, look, we want to make giants into soldiers. And he's like, this isn't what I want. My people don't want to be at war. We've already been in civil wars. It's all coming together. Here we... Oh, good. Okay, good. She's dead. Good. I turned the page and Estrid's... No, she's gone. All right. Shortly before Harold's return, Queen Estrid passed away. And to her dying breath, she spitefully blamed the kingdom's ills on the curse of her own son, Loki. Bro, and you can see his eyes covered up. Naturally, the people believed the curse was responsible for her death. But I like that Harold still loves him. He's playing with him. Loki seems to have lost all love for the world, though. His eyes are blinded out and everything. He's frowning. But at least Harold's giving him love, which is good. Loki, my son. He was born with an affliction of the eyes, I'm afraid. Though he can see, I assure you. The poor lad. Can you smile? I suppose not after losing your mother. But bro, wow. Wow! At just a few months old, Loki had abandoned any hope for love. Oh my god, dude. They are, I can't believe I'm about to say this. Loki for Straw Hat, bro. Loki for Straw Hat! I'm on the train again! I'm on the train again. I know I was just saying I don't want to do it, but I'm on the train again. I wanted to have a found family with the Straw Hats and to have love. Loki for Straw Hat, bro. I said I was never going to do it again after Yamato, but I want it. I want it. This poor kid. He's got a lot of bruises, but meanwhile, Harold's diplomatic ties paid off, and Elbaf survived its long winter, and you can see them all at the table there together. Branch Route 1. That's right. It'll promote friendship and trade between the villages. You can see them pointing over there. Okay, you can see the other giants as well. But between rebuilding the shattered country and his many foreign trips, Harold was tremendously busy. Man, and everybody in the castle is saying a horrid thing, and you can see he's still frowning. And so the care of Loki fell to his regent, Estrid's older brother. I hope that guy dies too. I hope he dies too. A lot of characters this arc, I'm like, I hope they die. That's how I'm feeling. All right. It's dangerous down here. This is the underworld. No, the sea separates us from the underworld. The beasts can't reach us here. And meanwhile, Ida's just squishing his little cheeks, little Horrid and shit. Man, this is terrible, though. That Loki's born in all this hatred. At least Horrid's got a good mom. Also, her little thing says Rog? R-O-G on it. RogersBase? Ida's a RogersBase fan? What's going on here? The sea separates us from the underworld. The beasts can't reach us here. She's squishing his little cheeks. You're going to do your warrior training with Elbow in the Western Village. All right? I'll stop by on the way home. Now, that's so sweet of you to be worried about me, though. And she's pouring more of the grog. You got the little heart. Ida's nice, man. Fishermen, the shipwrecked, pirates, all comers are welcome here. For this is Ida's bar. I just hope it helps Harold somehow. Also, really cool, too, to see this. When you remember that way back, not way back, it was a couple years ago at this point, but we had them drinking at Ida's bar during the Shanks thing. Remember when Shanks was fighting Kid and he was on Elbaf? One of the first things we saw of Elbaf was the bar. And it's cool to actually get like the backstory for it here. This is neat. I didn't even really make the connection until I'm looking at this panel, but I'm like, wait a minute, that's totally the same bar. Yeah, this is the one that Shanks is visiting all the time. Very cool. All right, let us continue. 56 years ago, Jarl's home, Elbaf. So you were there for the incident at the Reverie, huh, Harold? Okay, 56 years ago at the Reverie. Okay. Again, I'm getting my timing right. I'm trying to figure out exactly when all this happened. Yes, I asked a fellow royal to help me slip inside as a soldier. But in the end, the council would not hear me out. Interesting. I gotta know who was the royal that helped him, and how the hell did he hide inside? He's huge. If not for all the uproar about that murder, I might have been imprisoned. Okay. If you were lucky, you'd only be in chains. For that was reckless of you. Have you heard of the Galley-La band? That group of hardy giant... What? The group of hardy giant shipwrights. Hammer-wielding warriors, the Galley-La... Wait. I thought they were a myth. Ooh, this is good lore. This is where Galley-La is going to get their name then. Okay. They're cooking. That group of hardy giant shipwrights. Hammer-wielding warriors, right? I thought they were a myth. No. They most certainly existed. They traveled to distant shores and sent a letter back to Elbaf from afar. It said we have all been taken prisoner. I mean, can you believe that? Who would possibly capture 100-strong company of our kind? 100 strong. With ancient giants among them to boot. Bro, what? I have so much to talk about in the review, bro. I don't want to say anything while I'm still reading the chapter because I feel like things might get answered. I just got to let this wash over me. But already my brain is like pulling things from all these older chapters and thinking of how this could connect. Okay, very, very, very interesting. Galley-La was a thing that existed. Okay, let us continue. You think the world government did that? It's clear that we had a great enemy at some point in the distant past. Well, we know that because of mural piece, but we haven't gotten back to the mural in like 10 chapters. Maybe now would be a nice time after we get out of this. But all of that history was sunk under the sea one day. My point is your failure to win them over actually might not be your fault. And he's like an ancient enmity. I've heard stories on the wind about an army of... Oh! I've heard stories on the wind about an army of giants put on ice and hidden somewhere. In any case, never forget that we have long been a threat to the rest of the world. I'm aware of that. Oh, Prince Loki, killer of my beloved sister. Oh, okay, we're getting more of the... Oh, there's good stuff in this chapter, bro. There is good stuff. Armies of giants put on ice in Galley-La company. This is good. Okay. Oh, God, this flashback is good, man. And it's... Oh, I'll keep reading. I gotta save it for the review. I'll save it for the review. I'm gonna keep reading. Now let us see. What rotten scrap shall I feed you today? Loki, kill this man. Oh no. The lucky horse is dead. Oh, and as all these bad things are happening and he's growing up, he starts getting sadistic. You can see his frown turning upside down and Loki growing up. Oh, this is good. Oh no, the lucky horse is dead. Oh no, the regent is dead. Down in the underworld. Oh, there you go. He got what was coming to him. The regent died down in the underworld like a dog. Very good. Very, 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 very good. They said we don't even need to focus on his death. That pathetic weenie. Burn in hell, piece of garbage. All right. 48 years ago, Harold built 8 branch routes in Elbaf. Okay, 48 years ago. Unifying the country and creating a vibrant trade between villages. My dream is for us to be connected to every country. There's also good stuff here. And for giant kind to be able to live all across the world. There is so much good stuff. There is so much good stuff here. There are things I want to talk about. Oh man. If the giants can travel all across the... Well, I'll save it. Okay. So Harold says, my dream is for us to be connected to every country and for giant kind to be able to live across the world. And everyone's saying, you're the best, King Harold. We love you. I can scarcely remember how it used to be. Harold is now a king for the ages. Why do you look so pleased, Haruden? You're not the king's real son. Loki is our only prince. What? And now people are like bonking him on the head despite everything? You are nothing but a bastard. Wow. And now Harden's... Oh, and you can see the twist where Harden's now feeling sad. People are messing with him. He's crying. And meanwhile, Loki is finding pleasure in all this. Look out. King Harold is gone on another one of his trips. Look at Loki over here. Little Loki with the... All right, you know what this means. Bolt your doors and bring the children indoors. So Loki's got his band of little animals causing destruction from the underworld. You got a woolly mammoth back there too? Come on, boys, destroy him. So all his little pets from the underworld and little Loki is just wreaking havoc. This is Elbaf, land of the mighty. The weak ones don't deserve to live. Loki, meanwhile, caused harm and destruction and mocked those who ran from him whenever Harold would leave. He was a bratty little kid. But to be fair, you understand how he gets to this point. When he's being tortured as a baby and fed rotten scraps and being cursed. I feel for you still, Loki. Don't worry about it. You need to get your anger out on the village every once in a while. I understand. That's fine. That's totally fine, Loki. You're allowed. Hey, Loki, don't mess up the village that Dad worked so hard to rebuild, okay? Huh? He's my dad. He's not your dad. Oh, and I like that Harden's the only one that can sort of put him down. You know, that guy might get a lot of respect, but he tries to be friends with those tiny little bug humans. It's stupid. He's not even calling him dad. He's calling him that guy. And you can see Loki's already towering over him. You have to see everyone. Oh, dude, and this is so good tying it with the Big Mom stuff. You have to see everyone at the same eye level. Don't think you're special just because you're big. Big. I'm special because I'm the prince. Don't you ever talk back to me again, shrimp. Smacking him on the head again. Haruden? Oh, and you got Gerd over here and all the young new giant pirates. Stay away, Gerd, or Loki will think we're friends with him, and then he'll hit us. We are friends with him, dummy. And she's smacking him on the head. Haruden, are you okay? Come on, quick, help him. Huh? Little creep. So you're a loser, Haruden. Look at you weaklings, licking each other's wounds. The son of a mother with tainted blood, bro. Your Highness, that's enough. He is the king's son as well. He's a prince. Don't call him a prince. But no matter how much he harmed, and no matter how much he destroyed, Loki could never fill the hole at the center of his being. Oh, interesting that you're seeing the dog there too. And he's trying his best to grin. But oh, dude. Meanwhile, getting thrown back to the underworld, bandages off his eyes, and he's like, bro, I can't even die. He's like, I can't do anything right. He's holding a brave face for everybody in the village, but meanwhile, dude is suffering in silence, man. Dang. It is funny, like, going back and looking at what happened to Dressrosa, right, and Haruden wanting to get the fruit to free his country, and that fruit being the flame fruit, and Loki having, you know, the sun god fruit, or what he believes to be the sun god fruit, which we still haven't even seen in this flashback. My assumption is we're probably going to get that. If I had to guess, because we still got a couple pages, my guess is we're probably going to get Loki's sun god form or whatever, or like his sun god fruit. Because if we're right in the middle of all of this, and people are hyping this up, I kind of feel like that's what we've got. But all right, let's keep going. I can't even die. Ah! 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 I am gonna shut up and never predict anything again. I am gonna shut up. Oh my God, what the hell? I shouldn't be reading in silence, but I just read in silence. What in the world? Oh my gosh. Oh my God. Okay, hold on. I'll read it out loud. I'm going to read this out loud. Oh my gosh. Okay. Out of nowhere. What the heck? How is this? Oh, he looks cool though. Okay, wait. Okay. You guys, if you read the chapter, you know what I just saw, bro. Oh my goodness gracious. So you got Loki laying down with a mountain sliced. What is up with this island? How do you get inland? There we go. Oh, dude. Oh, and I'm even seeing more as I'm going through this. There we go. A giant kid. So this must be Elbaf, and you've still got Loki sitting there crying with all the giant animals. You've got young Shiki and young Whitebeard there with my man Xebec. And it says future captain of the Rocks Pirates, parentheses, this is crazy, parentheses, father of Blackbeard. Oh my God. Okay. I gotta read the text though. I'm losing it. Ho, 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 ho. Okay. Gee ha ha ha. So you got Shiki laughing. This one looks positively demonic. You've got Loki over there. Whitebeard saying it seems too big, even for a giant. And is he crying? And you got young Stussy over there too. What in the world? The early Rocks pirates. Oh, and he's actually talking and we're getting to see him. This is crazy. Oh my God. Wait, I just read the box now too. Hold on, I'm gonna read this out loud. This man who Harold met at the Reverie 8 years earlier, going back to the murder. Talking about the murder from earlier in the chapter. That's how this is all tying in. This man who Harold met at Reverie 8 years earlier killed a Navy headquarters admiral and fled. And now the government has placed a heavy bounty on his head. All right, Brett, you're going to say yes twice because that's the answer I want from these questions. Question is design is so sick. It's so sick. Question 1. Is this Elbaf land of the giants? And question 2. Is Harold here? Rox D. Xebec, future captain of the Rock Pirates, father of Blackbeard. One Piece, manga chapter 1154 end. Okay. There is, I hope you'll excuse me. I'll turn alerts back on. I'll open the chat up for everybody. We'll have a whole conversation about this. But review time. Jumping right into this. This is a 11 out of 10 chapter. This is like 12 out of 10, 11 out of 10. Incredibly good. Getting the reveal of Rox D. Xebec. The fact that he is, in fact, confirming theories that have dated back 15 years. That this man is the father of Blackbeard. That at some point in the story, before we even knew who Rox was, people were like, we need to have that parallel and meet the father of Blackbeard. If we've already met the father of Luffy, we've got Dragon. We know that they're going to have interaction at some point later in the story. We're probably going to have to see at some point the equivalent, which is going to be Blackbeard's father. This dated back to before we knew Rox, pre all the stuff with the Reverie, all of this. The fact that we are getting it now is absolutely positively peak. His design with the split color hair, absolutely positively incredible. And like Aaron is bringing up in my chat, completely correct. The name of Blackbeard's ship is the Xebec. We've known this since the introduction of Blackbeard. We've known that his ship was called the Xebec. So a lot of us have been talking about this, saying that he's going to be related in some way, or that maybe he was possessed by Rox or something. But it's just straight up his dad. I love this. I love this. And I love, we're going to be all over the place, by the way, in this review. I need you to just understand we're going to be hopping all over the place. And again, thank you so much for the super chats. I will be getting to every single super chat. Don't worry. If you're super chatting, I will get to them later. Don't you worry about a thing. I'm on my train of thought right now, and I don't want to lose any of this stuff. All right. They mention in this final chapter page that Harold met him at the Reverie 8 years prior. Obviously, there was a murder that happened at the Reverie. Clearly, that was the Xebec, like, obviously. And it said here that he killed a Navy headquarters admiral. I am dying to know who he killed. And also, like, power scale stocks are probably crazy high for Rox right now. That he casually, 8 years prior to this, killed an admiral pre-forming the Rox Pirates. Because it says here, future captain of the Rox Pirates. So he at the time, he didn't have the Rox Pirates at this point. He was just chilling with Shinky and Whitebeard and Stussy. Arriving in Elbaf and had some type of relationship with Harold. He met him there. I want to jump from this to this page on 10 and 11 with the conversation between Jarl and Harold and how this potentially connects. Because Jarl said, you were there for an incident at the Reverie, right? And that's obviously the murder of the Admiral by the hands of Xebec. He says, I asked a fellow royal to help me slip inside as a soldier, but in the end, the council would not hear me out. That is a huge question. Who is the royal who helped Harold slip inside? That I gotta know. In the end, the council would not hear me out. If not for all the uproar about that murder, I may have been imprisoned. Okay, and again, the murder was Xebec's. If you were lucky, you'd only be in chains. That was reckless of you. Have you ever heard of the Galley-La band? And he says, that group of hardy giant shipwrights, hammer-wielding warriors, right? I thought they were a myth. Okay. Okay. The big thing that I have to question with this Galley-La band, because they say here, they most certainly existed. They traveled to distant shores and sent a letter back to Elbaf from afar, saying that we've been taken prisoner. Who could possibly capture 100-strong company of our kind with ancient giants among them to boot? Obviously, the world government. They even talk about the fact that they had a clear enemy at some point. Obviously, we've got the ties right now with modern Elbaf going on with Emu. This is Emu's doing, definitely. However, I want to pose something to you. I'm going to get the volume off my shelf. Because if I'm remembering this correctly, I know where these giants are. I literally know where these giants are. I'm going to take this out. Everybody, get your volumes right now. It should be this one. It's one of these volumes. It's one of these. Right here. Okay. Impel Down, if you will remember, there were a bunch of giants that were hidden in Impel Down that we didn't know what the heck was going on with them, that were encased on the ice level. People in my chat are saying it's 660. Okay, let me open this up. 660. And you can see already, right here, all the different levels of Impel Down. All right, opening this up. 660. I think it was earlier than this. I don't think it was 660. I don't think you guys are right. I think we saw this prior. Because I'm in Impel Down. Oh, no, maybe it was. Wait, no. Maybe you guys are... Hold on. Wait. You're right. It might be 660. Wait a minute. I'm tripping. Hold on. What's the volume? What's the volume for 660? I think you guys are right. What's the volume for 660? That should be... If this is 70... Dressrosa was obviously 700. This is pre-Dressrosa. 73, 66, 60. Right before 660, 660, 660. Bro, I'm like, I have to go through all of these. Hold on. Dude, this is so cool that this is actually being brought up again. 632, okay. Volume 60. It's volume 67. This is 66. Give me a sec. One more. Okay. Hold this on down in there. Dude, I got so many volumes I gotta go through. All right, here we go. Volume 67. Here we go. We got it. On the 7th page of 660. Okay. Dude, this is so sick. That's why. Wait a minute. Wait. Am I misremembering? Hold on. Oh my God. I am. Wait a minute. Oh, this is good. This is good stuff. I am misremembering. This wasn't the ice level of Impel Down. It was Punk Hazard. It was the ice in Punk Hazard. Hold on, wait. Let me go back. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, dude. Oh my gosh. Okay. This is literally the page. Look. Look. That is the page right there. Yeah, 660. This is the chapter, Trafalgar Law, Warlord of the Sea. You get all the giants, and you even see the ones with horns, dude. They're there. This is where the frozen ones are. I'm scared. What is this? Frozen corpses. Above and below. And you can see this giant one over there, too. Wait for us. Don't leave us behind. Right, it totally was Impel Down. Because the whole thing was Impel Down. Obviously, they were testing the kids and growing them with the giant serum. Dude, yes, it was. I'm not Impel... What am I? I keep saying Impel... You know what I mean? Punk Hazard, bro. I keep saying Impel Down. I mean Punk Hazard. Bro. Because I thought it was... I don't know why. I guess it's been a minute since the last time I read Punk Hazard. But in my brain, I remember giants encased in ice in Impel Down. But it totally was Punk Hazard. Because again, that was the whole plot line in Punk Hazard with the kids. Bro. I love this too. Because again, that's like a hidden government facility. That would be where they would be stored. You got the giant ice there. Does the connection with the giant kids. This is amazing. But, hold on. They most certainly existed. They traveled distant shores, sent a letter back from afar and said, we've been taken prisoner. Who could possibly capture a 100-strong company of that kind with ancient giants among them to boot? Do you think the world government did that? It is clear we have a great enemy at this point in the distant past. All right. Real quick. Could one of my moderators, I'm going to do this, over on Twitch, turn off subscriber mode? Because on my end, I'm also going to turn off member mode. Let me turn off member mode real quick. Because I want everybody to be able to participate. Now that I'm not worried about spoilers, I'm going to turn it off. Hold on. Here we go. You still got to be a subscriber to talk, so it's like people won't be rude. But all right, here we go. I'm turning this off. Customization. Here we go. Boom. Save. All right. You guys should be free in just a second. It's about to go crazy. Okay. Chat's about to open the floodgates. Bro, it's too good of a chapter. I got to open it up. I got to open it up for everybody. You can see everyone going, I'm free. Hello. Thank you. I'm free. All right. Like I said, I'm not worried about spoilers now at this point. We're out of here, so we're good. I can free everybody. Free. I'm here from YouTube. Look at my old chat is going free. I'm free. Woo! Fantastic. Absolutely peak chapter. Fantastic. Thank you, by the way, Poof, over on Twitch, disabling everything for us. All right. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. Okay. This Punk Hazard thing, finally going back to this, where it said, I heard stories on the wind about an army put on ice and hidden somewhere. In any case, never forget that we've been long been a threat to the rest of the world. This was 56 years ago that this was happening. This is pre-Caesar Clown. This is pre-Mads. This is pre-Sanji's father. This is before all of that. So I'm like, how long? Because I feel like maybe this was given us at some point. But how long has Punk Hazard been used as a government facility? We know about the whole thing with the change of the environment with Akainu and Kuzan. We know about that. But I thought, again, there's a lot of stuff in One Piece, and it's been years since I thought about this. I thought Punk Hazard was being run by Caesar after all the funding with Mads. But I guess this has been there for a much longer time if they've been there. I suppose they could have been transferred. They could have been in Marijoa. We know about the giant straw hat that's in Marijoa. They could have maybe been kept in Marijoa and then transferred to Punk Hazard after the facility actually was created. People were saying it was actually a previous prison in Vegapunk's first island. Right. But this is still 56 years ago. How old is Vegapunk at this point? Because Vegapunk, in the world of One Piece, hold on. Vegapunk at the time of his death was 65. This is 56. He would have been 9 years old. So this is even pre-Vegapunk. Vegapunk was a wee lad when all of this stuff was going down and these guys were imprisoned. So I really feel like this maybe is something where it was like they transferred them from a different prison and brought them to Punk Hazard during the experimentation of the children. But then how did they haul those guys over there? It's just like, I think people, it's really easy to forget with where we are in the story right now and with all these different time changes of like, oh, Xebec showed up 8 years after he had showed up in, 56 years ago in the Reverie. There's a lot of different changes going on within the story right now in terms of the time frame. So obviously it's easy to forget things and to say these things are happening in other places. But that is important to note that this is pre-Vegapunk when all this is going down. And that Emu seemingly, because he's the only one I could think of in the story currently at this point, if this is pre-Rocks Pirates, in which I feel like, yeah, I feel like Emu would have been the only one to take them down. He could have Domi reversing them and taken them down. Okay. But the other interesting thing to note here that I love, and a big reason why I was freaking out, and this is going to connect to the other thing I was freaking out about in the reaction. It's crazy. By the way, shout out to all the viewers that are in here. It is crazy to me, right, that this is the reveal chapter for Roxy Xebec, and I'm over here geeking out about other lore stuff. Like, don't get me wrong. Xebec being here, revealed, super duper freaking cool. Like, I love this. I love this. But there's other stuff that I'm almost like more interested in right now. Because Galley-La, if you remember the logo of Galley-La, I'm going to open this up on my main screen so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Hold on, let me take this down. If you remember the logo of Galley-La, oh, I still have my copyright filter thing up too. Sorry about that, everybody. Hold on. Here we go. Galley-La's logo is like this Viking ship. This was literally the original logo for Galley-La. I never put together that there could have been a connection there with Elbaf. But even more so, okay, even more than this, these ancient giant shipwrights, right? Knowing that Tom knew how to make Pluton, and that these things were passed down, and Frankie and Iceberg and the blueprints and all the stuff we know from Water 7 and Enies Lobby. Knowing that, could Pluton's plans have originated from Elbaf? Which makes a lot of sense, because Pluton, obviously being an ancient weapon, they even made a point in Harold's flashback to tie in the thing that Harold had learned tale of the birth of Neptune, who would eventually be the father to an ancient weapon with Shirahoshi. Like, there's a lot of stuff that's connecting here. Pluton and the blueprints potentially originating from Elbaf says to me that I think that maybe Tom got them from here and that they knew how to do it. And with them being like this land of war and this ancient kingdom and having all this history in the mural, and them even mentioning in this exact same scene that it's clear we had a great enemy at some point in the distant past, and in the mural we saw the giant ship. Clear as day, we saw it. I feel like that is how all of this is going to connect together. The only thing is, the army of giants being frozen, I wonder if there's a way to thaw them out. They're acknowledged as corpses in the chapter that we brought up, though. But could they be reborn? Like, could the sun melt their ice or something? Because I'm trying to think, because again, there's a lot in this chapter. I'm trying to think how Loki's story will incorporate into a redemption arc with the information that has been given to us in this chapter, right? Because I was certain, when we got halfway through this chapter, I did not think Rox was going to be the ending. I was certain we were going to see whatever the sun god fruit is that Loki thinks that he has, right? If that is not the case, I feel like maybe... I'm sticking to my old theory that I feel like the sun god fruit is literally the power of the sun. Like, it's literally the sun fruit for him. And he doesn't know the difference because there's different variations of Nika. And some people see Nika as a warrior and other people see him as a peacemaker and a liberator. So there's all these different ideas of like who Nika could be within all the other different like myths throughout the course of One Piece. Part of me is wondering if it is almost like, and maybe this is also because I just went to go see Superman 2 days ago. But you know how Superman, like, he gets his power from the sun and he heals from the sun? I'm almost wondering if, like, there's going to be a situation in which Loki, utilizing the powers of the sun, can thaw out the giants that have been frozen and encased in the prison, either in Punk Hazard or in Marijoa with the giant straw hat in the giant freezer. Thank you again to all the super chatters and all the donators. Again, I will get to all of that during the super chat section. Thank you very, very much. I feel like there's got to be a connection there. Because don't get, I this is not a complaint at all. This is, in fact, this is like the opposite. I love that we're getting all this lore in this, but considering the fact that this is Harold and Loki's flashback, and this is going to directly tie into finding out the truth about what happened to Harold that day, and why Jarl's got a sword in his head, and Emu's powers, and how he was able to take down these ancient giants, and the Domi Reversi that we've already seen in the story, there's obviously a lot of stuff that's going to connect to eventually, like, telling us how we are going to eventually beat the Domi Reversi here in Elbaf in present day. How we are going to rid the, you know, the God Knights that are here in Elbaf right now from the country. And how this is going to tie overall into the dream of Harold. Because Harold here, his dream, and the thing I was freaking out about, this is on page 12, okay? He says, my dream is for us to be connected to every country and for giant kind to be able to live all across the world. Now we know about these rainbow bridges, right? We know about the Bifrost bridges that are taking us through all the different levels of Elbaf. We know that Lilith, aka the living Vegapunk, is right here, right now, in Elbaf. We know she's gonna stay here because of the climate. We know she's experimenting on stuff. Bonnie and Kuma are still here as well. By the way, right after this chapter reaction, we're going to go over on Twitch. We're going to watch today's episode as well. We had a big long stream today, so buckle up, folks. We got a lot of stuff that we're covering today. Okay. With Lilith here, experimenting on things, then bringing up the idea of like the Cloud Islands where people can live, back in Egghead, knowing that the flood is eventually going to happen, and then the world may eventually sink due to Emu and the evils within the world, and potentially make the red line maybe being destroyed at some point, and the all blue being created where there's no islands, it's just sea. There's going to need to be some place in which the people can live. There is a way with Lilith's technology, with the clouds, with the rainbow bridges, with the sea, with everyone sitting at eye level, right, in which everyone's dreams can come true, end of series, if the world government is taken down and the red line is destroyed and there's nothing but sea and everyone just lives on the clouds. And then the giants can live among the regular people. Bro, it's perfect. The way he's tying everything, and this is what, hold on, and this, oh boy. Okay. Because this is what I've been saying for years and people aren't listening to me, and I'm like, you gotta listen. Things are wrapping up and tying up in such a cohesive way in which all these weird little plot threads are connecting together in ways that you wouldn't normally think. Like, again, I never thought we were going to go back to like the frozen giants in Punk Hazard and tie them into Galley-La Company, which then ties into Pluton, which ties into Tom. Like, everything is connecting together. And now we're getting this thing with the bridges and everyone's being connected, giant kind being able to live all across the world, Big Mom's dream of living at eye level, which we literally see within this flashback. I have been saying this for years. The story is wrapping up. We are in Final Saga. This is true Final Saga Oda. This is where we are right now. And I think there's a lot of people, that, especially that I talked to when I was at Anime Expo this past week, or fans that were coming up to me, who are like, oh, we've got at least 10 years left of the story. I'm like, no, we don't. No, we do not. We have at max, I think 5. Max. Because you have to remember, going into Final Saga, going into Final War, and going into Laugh Tale, right? In order to fully comprehend what is happening there, we need to get the context for how stuff got to be that way. Do you know what I mean? And if all the context is being given to us through, I mean, we've gotten so much in Elbaf already with the mural and now the stuff with the giants and the connective tissue and the bridges and everyone singing at eye level and Vegapunk's technology and the Kuma and Bonnie stuff. There's a lot. I mean, these chapters have been so dense recently. And again, you can see him introducing new characters in Elbaf, but this isn't a Wano situation in which he's just like introducing a bunch of people and not coming back to them. Everyone he's been introducing is important and then gets out of the story immediately now. All this stuff with Estrid, she's dead already. The Regent, dead already. Like, he's implementing the stuff that we need to know. And everything else, he's tying in an almost seamless way. I love this. Also, Toy said, bro, in 2019, we thought One Piece was going to be ending in 5 years. No, we didn't. No, we didn't. If you remember, This is why I like to clarify this for people. If you remember, Oda said in 2019, when we were in Wano Country, that when Wano Country ended, we would be about 5 years from the end of the story. Now, if you remember, that was 2022, okay? 5 years from 2022 is 2027. 2027 is the 30th anniversary of One Piece. We are not going to be, especially at the pace we are moving at, we are not going to be in Elbaf in 2027. We are going to be in Final War Arc. Like, full stop. We are going to be in Final War Arc. That's happening. That's where we are. That is accounting for breaks. Like, with where we are right now, I'm assuming that is including breaks. And he's been saying time and time again, it's actually close to ending. And his editors have been doubling down saying, this is serious. Now, I'm not saying I think it's going to end in 2027. But I do think by 2027, it's final arc. I really feel like we are in Laugh Tale by that point. Which I know probably seems like, oh, that's rushing and there's so much information, but it's not. Because you got to remember, it's been a slow build of 30 years worth of content. And it's just now that we're understanding how that that we're actually being given the context for how that content connects together. And once we know all this information and how it connects together, it's not going to be like it's rushing. I feel like people who are like, oh, they're going to rush the end of One Piece. No, they're not. I think there are going to be a couple things that aren't touched on, but I think overall, most of the big things, especially if we're coming back to the giants encased in ice, most everything will be touched on. We don't need, going into the final arc, the exposition of all these new characters. We know who the final players are. We know the God Knights. We know Imu. We know the Gorosei. We know the Revolutionaries. We know these giants. We know everybody now. Like, we know everybody. So we don't need a whole arc of exposition going into Final War, which I think is like my big thing and why I love the story right now, is I feel like we are still getting Elbaf exposition currently. Like, we're finding out more information about the characters directly tied to the current story arc. But so much of the story arc has been dedicated to setting up what is going to be happening at the end of everything, which I think is extremely hype. And again, leads me to believe that we are much closer to the end than people are believing. I really think we are very close to the end. Because you also have to remember, okay, One Piece, we were on volume 60 at the time skip. One Piece's current volume, I believe, is 114, right? One Piece volumes. Let's look this up real quick. Because is this going to be a volume ender, by the way? I'm looking at the timing. I think this might actually be a volume ender chapter, which would be crazy if they end a volume with the reveal of Blackbeard's father, Xebec. Dude, this chapter is so good. There's just so much to talk about. Okay, so we are currently, I'm opening this up. We are currently on volume 113. And volume, this is definitely a volume ender. Because the volume begins with 1145, ends with 1154. So Can't Even Die, this is it. This is the end. Woo! And I think it's an important thing to remind people that we already, prior to this volume, this will be the third full volume of Elbaf already. This. Meaning that I think we got at least 2 more volumes. At least. With all the information that's being packed in here and the stuff with Loki and the God Knights and everything, I feel like we have at least 2. At least 2. If we have at least 2, that brings us to volume 115. We already know what the next story arc is. We know the next story arc is Final War. That then gives us 5 volumes with pure Final War. Which, to put in perspective, when you go back and you look at Marineford, like, let's go to Marineford real quick. Marineford, prior to the time skip, looking at the volumes, and excluding post-war, was 1, 2, 3. We had 3 volumes of Marineford, 3. If you want to include Impel Down, you could say 6, but realistically, we had 3. And the way that this story is being set up and the way we're getting this information about the final, like, era of One Piece, I really feel like we've got at least 5 volumes. And what does that do? Say, for example, we get 5 volumes of Elbaf, right? And 5 volumes of Final War. And assume Final War then wraps up after those 5 volumes. That takes us exactly to volume 120, which is exactly 60 volumes since the halfway point of the story. Looking at release schedule takes us to 2027, which is the 30th anniversary of One Piece, and then allows us another 2-3 years, whatever, for him to cook on Laugh Tale, if he so chooses. But what I'm telling you all right now is that by 2027, we're going to be near the end of Final War. We're going to be into final arc, not final saga, final arc of One Piece. Final arc, full stop, final arc. Idro said we need to find Burnscar Man and imagine going to Lodestar too. We don't need to go to Lodestar because they've already confirmed. You go to Lodestar to find out all the stuff about the poneglyphs. We already know that. We can skip Lodestar. They told us that back in Zoe. And we do know the Burnscar Man. The Burnscar Man is Scopper Gaban. We literally saw it on his face where it looks like a flame. So we have both of those answers. We don't even need that. We're chilling. So I'm telling you, man, 2027, we're in Final War. The way that the pace we're moving at, breaks included. And Oda, when everyone was like, oh, end of Wano, it's going to be 5 more years. Oda wasn't lying. End of Wano country does indeed take us to 2027 with that 5-year estimate. And with all this stuff being said, this is just such a good chapter, man. I haven't even touched, I've been talking for this long, I haven't even touched on the stuff with Loki and his past. And my desire to actually see him join the Straw Hats now. This whole thing where like he's been shunned by his family this whole time. Haruden already being part of the Grand Fleet. Haruden already being there, right? And Loki needing a family, already having half a family with Haruden. The two of them coming to blows when they were kids. I love the idea of Loki potentially joining the Straw Hats now. Being the giant on their crew. Potentially the ship getting bigger because of Biblio's powers. Maybe making the Thousand Sunny bigger. Going into all the stuff in Final War. So we have this massive ship at the front of the fleet. And Haruden being there with the new giant pirates. I also am in 110% agreement with Ace Stone. Because this is something I brought up during last week's reaction. This chapter to me, with Ida being a good mom to Haruden and like squishing his little cheeks. And us not seeing any conversation between the two of them, I really feel like Ida is Mosa now. I think Ida is Mosa. If it's not Jarl, and Jarl is not hiding his connection to what really happened that day with Harold, and he actually does know what happened, and he knows that Loki wasn't bad, and he's trying to do this to keep people calm. If it's not Jarl, I honestly think it could be Ida. I really do. With the speech pattern, the way he's like talking to her, she's got to be Mosa. Because I feel like we aren't seeing her die in any of this. And we know the giants have a really long lifespan. And we know there's all these other characters that have been living for so long. I feel like Ida could be. Man, this is just absolutely amazing chapter. Even the stuff where like he's terrorizing the village. And it's all the people who mocked him. And I almost understand where Loki is coming from. People are like blaming all this horrible stuff happening on him. So of course he's going to naturally take it out on them because his only friends are the little animals that are down in the underworld. It's so good. Again, this chapter is like a 12 out of 10, 11 out of 10. There's so much going on here. I haven't even touched on Rock's theories, but I feel like I don't even need to. Because I feel like once we get into those super chats and once we get into those subscriptions and some of those member questions and stuff, I feel like there's going to be a lot of conversation about this specifically. Also, yes, Alka's saying, am I going to react to the new One Piece episode? Yes, right after this. We're not going to do it on YouTube. We're going to do it over on Twitch right after this, once we stop talking about this manga chapter. But the reason this chapter was a little bit later today and the reason my reaction was later and all this stuff, I want to give people the opportunity to actually read the chapters before I go live. And I feel like based on viewership and based on people talking in the live chat, I feel like this was the right way to go about things. I do. I feel like this was smart. I think this new schedule was good. And I also think keeping the anime stuff away from the manga stuff then allows anime people to be unspoiled. And they don't have to like skip through everything to see it. So yeah, I think this was honestly the right way to go about it. I do. Thank you for that, RogersBase. I got you, Satwick. Don't you even worry about it. There were so many good reveals in this one. 110% you made the right call. Fantastic. Yeah, certified banger of a chapter. Okay. We still got all these viewers. We still got all these super chats. We still got all these theories. But you already know what we got to do. We got to see James's thumbnail this week. We got to see what James did for the thumbnail. Because my assumption is he's going to do rocks. If he doesn't do rocks this week, I will be shocked. Let me open this up. Dude, what a good chapter, man. Wow. And again, there's so much stuff we still got to talk about. I know I'm saving the rock stuff. I just know already I'm going to be reading 20 different super chats, theorizing things about rocks and other characters and stuff. So we're good. Okay. James's thumbnail art. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Of course. James never misses, bro. So, of course, we had a break week previously. So he did a break week thumbnail. This is for chapter 1039. I asked James to do a thumbnail for chapter 1039. This is the Big Mom Law versus Kid chapter where it lands on her head. I loved this chapter, and we're sort of going backwards, making thumbnails for the old Wano chapters that did not have thumbnails. So he went back and he did Big Moms, and this is absolutely lovely. But I could see right from here. Can you smell what the rocks is cooking? Oh man. Absolutely perfect. This is, to be fair, this is what I imagined rocks would look like as well. I feel like maybe he's going to end up having some weird color scheme with his hair, but I don't believe it. I think it is going to be something where it's going to be like black and white. That you're going to have like black and white different strands. He looks amazing here. I also love that he did the two. Where is King Harold and is this Elbaf? I love this. Also, another thing that I find really interesting about Xebec and Blackbeard, right, is that Blackbeard's ship is the Xebec. We know this. But Blackbeard's signature laugh is Zay, ha 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 ha, which is obviously written Z-E-H-A-H-A-H-A. But when spoken out loud, Zay and Zay of Xebec, there's a little bit of connection there, I think, which I think is kind of cool. Very cool. Yeah, and as people are noting, it's not just the Xebec, it's the saber of Xebec, which is also, I guess there is, okay. Because we're looking at the thumbnail and James did a beautiful job, there is actually one theory I want to throw at you. There's one thing I want to say looking at this and looking at Blackbeard. I don't even know if I want to put this out there. But I feel like I have to. Before I get to everybody's theories and before I hear what people think about rocks, I feel like I have to express what I think is going on with rocks. They clarified that Rocks is Blackbeard's father. We got the stuff with the mural, with all the, characters that were coming together to work against Emu, right? All these like god fruits and all this other stuff. Sun, earth, water, all that kind of stuff. I feel, because of the weird thing going on with Blackbeard's body, and the fact that Blackbeard doesn't sleep, and the fact that somehow seemingly he can have 2 devil fruits, we have not seen Rox's fruit yet. We haven't seen it. I am almost wondering if the Yami Yami no Mi, much in the same way the Gum Gum fruit actually was not the Gum Gum fruit and was hidden by the government and is actually the Nika fruit, I am almost wondering if the Yami Yami no Mi was owned by his father. Because, again, think about it. Thatch had the Yami Yami no Mi on Whitebeard's crew. Blackbeard specifically joined Whitebeard's crew to get the fruit. And the thing that we know about devil fruits now is that the soul of the fruit, right, can come to life and sometimes, with these mythical zones, can sometimes overpower the user. We know this. We know this already. We've seen this with the awakened zones that are in Impel Down. I'm almost wondering if Xebec, back in the day, was the owner of the Yami Yami no Mi, and that somehow, through either awakening the fruit or something, is like able with his will to take over the soul of the fruit. right? Because the assumption is that if you are strong enough and your will is strong enough, your will and your, like, power will overpower the soul that is within that fruit, allowing you to awaken it. Now, we haven't seen any awakening of the Ami Ami no Mi, but with the amount that Rox has been talked about and hyped up, killing an admiral pre-Rox pirates, I am wondering if Blackbeard's father had his fruit, had awakened his fruit, and somehow was able to, like, overcome the soul within the fruit to basically be the new... I don't know if I'm explaining this correctly, but essentially that he is becoming the new soul within the Ami Ami no Mi, which then potentially allows him to have 2 devil fruits. That Blackbeard, through the powers of the Ami Ami no Mi or something, allows him to have 2. In which, like, Xebec, maybe through the power of the Ami Ami no Mi, is able to overtake Blackbeard, because Blackbeard doesn't have as strong of a will of Luffy. And that maybe that's why Blackbeard can't sleep, is that Xebec is in Blackbeard. And that, like, his will, in the same way that Nika's will is living on through Luffy, Xebec's will is living on through his son. I feel like there's just something weird about Rox and the connection and us not seeing them and him being his biological father and all this other stuff. I feel like Xebec somehow, some way, is inside of Blackbeard. I don't know how, and I feel like I'm explaining this incorrectly, but I feel like that's what's going on here. I feel like it's got to be something where, like, Xebec, or at the very least Xebec's will, is still alive inside of Blackbeard. But I'm sure other people are going to have way better theories than me, and this is just based off of reading the chapter right now. And I want to get to them, and I want to hear what people are saying. But once again, James, beautiful thumbnail right here. Absolutely beautiful thumbnail. Also, yes, like Heidi said, exactly. Luffy and Zoro did say they when they first met Blackbeard. Exactly. Exactly. That there's like 2 people within him or something. And that maybe is what allows him to do it. Which then also makes that speech... If Xebec is living on inside of Blackbeard, that also, like, makes Whitebeard's speech to Blackbeard that much stronger when he was like, the man that Roger was waiting for was not you, Teach. And him having been on the crew. Woo! I love it. I love it. I love it. All right, let's get to some super chats. I'm going to read some of these now. Let me see all this stuff. Hold on. Incredible, incredible, incredible chapter. Incredible chapter, and great job on the thumbnail, James. Okay. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Okay. Let's open this up. We have so many of these. Also, I want to give a quick shout out to all the subscribers over on Twitch as well. Thank you to Rob Harley for becoming a subscriber. Thank you to Juan for becoming a subscriber over on Twitch. Thank you very, very much. Thank you to Jen for becoming a subscriber on Twitch. Thank you to all you guys. Nakama, appreciate that. In fact, hold on. I'm going to add to the member count over here. There we go. See, that's the only problem. I have to add to the member count manually for all this. Also, I want to give a shout out to KP, to Denjen, over here as well, to, Nervesh, Riasat, and to Shushant for gifting 5 memberships. Thank you very, very much, bringing us to 484. Thank you very, very much. Okay, Nakama, appreciate all you being here. All right, now let's get to the beginning. Let's get to some of these super chats. Let's get to some of these theories. Alexandra came through with the first one, saying we really had a Goldie Roger son and Xebec son fight. Of course we did. Of course. Ace versus Blackbeard. We got it. We got the sons fight. Which, again, retroactive. Like, that's the thing about this chapter in particular. The way they're building everything up. It's retroactively making so much stuff better. It's adding more context to stuff that we knew way back when. From whether it was Galley-La or the stuff with Blackbeard and Ace. There's, like, so much stuff that's being added to. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Really, really, really good stuff. Okay. Thank you very much, Alexander. Ace saying, if you put Buggy and Rox side by side, specifically his cross-guild picture, I think Buggy and Blackbeard might be half-brothers? Buggy and Rox. Okay. Buggy is the son of Rox D. Xebec? What? Wait. What is this? What is this? I just Google searched. This is crazy. I Google searched. I'm going to open this up. Buggy rocks. Okay? This photo. Now, first off, Oda straight up said in this chapter, father of Blackbeard. He did not say father of Buggy. But someone down here put both sides of Rox's face side by side. Dude, this is such a reach. He does not have a red nose. This is the biggest reach of all reaches. There's no red nose, bro. Someone thinks that Buggy is Blackbeard's brother. Thank you, by the way, to Christoph coming through with the membership. Nakama. Greatly appreciate that, Christoph. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. The red nose maybe is maternal. The mom might have a red nose. Rock slept with a clown? Come on, bro. I mean, look. I'm not going to hate the theory. I'm not going to hate it. I think it's super funny. I think the idea that somehow, some way, Blackbeard and Buggy are brothers is goofy. But I don't hate it. I'm not going to like clown on this, no pun intended, and say this definitely isn't true. Bro, there's a lot of people. There's one on Threads over here too, saying the same thing. With the eyes, Rox D Buggy and Rox D Teach. Bro, this is crazy. That's crazy. Rox D Buggy? Come on. I know Buggy's always failing upwards, but come on, dude. Buggy is a D, I'm sure of it. He's the child of Rox. Oh, man. Well, look, at the very least, we know from this chapter for sure that Rox is Blackbeard's father. So at least we can work with that. But I'm not gonna pass judgment if you want to believe that maybe Buggy is gonna end up being his father. Maybe. I mean, Buggy's gonna end up being his son. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe you're right. Maybe, you know what? Lex in the chat just brought up, maybe it's not black and white hair. Maybe it's blue and black hair. Maybe. Maybe it's black hair and blue hair strands, and he's got half Buggy and half Blackbeard. Maybe. Also, people keep saying watch other people's reactions. I'm not going to watch other people's reactions on stream today. It's not happening. Please stop asking. I'm not doing it. But either way, that's interesting. Okay. Let me move this on up here, and let me see what people are saying. All right. Let me open this back over here. Hold on. We have Tev Sauce coming through. Saying, maybe don't do it on stream, but you have to see Jay's. All right, I might watch Jay's. I do love Jay. Jay's a buddy of mine. I might watch Jay's, Rob. All right, Tev Sauce said, I feel like Oda would have to massively fumble the ending for this arc not to be goated. I mean, that's what I've been saying. Tev Sauce, Elbaf to me is like incredible. Elbaf, the back-to-back of Egghead and Elbaf has been so wonderful. I'm not going to go into a whole tangent again about comparing it to other post-time skip arcs, but it's been great. Absolutely great. Okay. We have Roberto coming through with the super chat saying this chapter was absolutely insane. When I watched the reaction with Jay, he called every single YouTube losers and said your name twice saying that he was the winner. Wait, what? Okay, now I gotta watch. Okay, I'll watch Jay's. Okay, hold on. All right, I'll watch Jay's reaction. Fine. You guys are asking for it. I'll watch it. All right. Here we go. Let's see his reaction. Hold on. Can someone link me to this? Hold on, let's see. I'll watch it. Here we go. Are you going to watch it on stream? Yeah, why not? Let's watch. I'm not going to watch the whole thing, but I will skip to wherever he says that. Where is this? I got my joy back once again is the name of his video. Hold on. I got to see this. Go to the 46 mark. He calls out you and all the other YouTubers. I'm excited to see this. All right. Shout out to Jay, by the way. Jay's the GOAT. All right. 46 minute. And 47-second mark. Let's see this.
Teams? Huh? Is it still about love? Is it still the silly pirate manga? Or is it now just about a...
Wait. This is going to get us in trouble. I'm not... Wait. Jay, why are you getting me in trouble, Jay? Jay. All right. Already. I shouldn't be watching this. Jay, you're going to get me in trouble, man. You and I have had conversations. We've had conversations about the silly pirate manga thing and how much we hate it as a way to go away from criticism of the series and just be like, you should just read it for what it is. I'm not going to get into it. No names will be named. We are all friends. It is all love. But Jay, you're dirty for that one. Let's keep going.
The piece. What is it? Which one?
Let's
go.
go.
You can't read the chapter without agenda. It's over. It's actually over. I win. I win. Me, JD Legend, I win. Okay, not you. Not Virgo, not Cole, not Roger, not Morge, not Chestnut, not He-May, not Tekken, not Grandline O'Hara, Joy Girl, Hidden Island.
He's naming everybody.
Boogie Warren, no Goofy, Murphy Napier. Anything is win. I win. I won. Today's my day. It's my day today. Is there any other One Piece YouTubers I missed?
I think you named all of them.
Knuckles. Who else?
How many
more? How many more? What other YouTubers have I missed?
That is amazing.
Roger? I hope I said RogersBase.
No, you did.
Sawyer
you said right. He called out Sawyer. That's what I was gonna say. King Recon.
Who else?
King Recon, bro. Where's King Recon?
All of y'all. You're all lost. Volume 1 podcast.
Volume 1 podcast. Randy Troy, bro. Randy.
You're lost. King Recon, I love you. You're lost.
That's insane. Oh man. That's good stuff. That's good. Thank you guys. All right, that was funny. That was actually worth watching on stream. All right, well done. Well done, you guys. I'm just happy Jay is feeling it again, because I know we've had many conversations at like previous anime conventions and a whole bunch of other stuff. I mean, you guys have been through my journey. You know how I felt and my trajectory with the One Piece manga and covering the One Piece manga and interacting with the community. You guys know my story. If you're new, maybe you don't, but I'm not going to go through the whole thing again. But essentially, I do feel like a lot of us who have been following it for a really, really long time just didn't really lose our love for the story necessarily, but I think like our hopes and our expectations of what to expect from Oda, I think, dropped drastically after Wano. For a lot of us who have been longtime fans of the series, that's not look, if you love Wano, great, that's fine. That's not, but I do feel like for a lot of us, that was kind of a tipping point where it's like, the series is never for us personally going to ever be as special again. And I feel like Egghead and Elbaf have reignited it for so many of us. It is fantastic. And I think that is like a W crash out right there. I think Jay made an absolutely W crash out in there. I love it. So, all right, well done, Jay. I want to bring this back up though. Hold on. Gabe D. Champ super chatted and said, I think that the Blackbeard laugh is supposed to be Zehaha instead of Zehaha, but Oda didn't want to reveal the X as a relation to Xebec. We literally brought that up earlier, Gabe, so I'm glad you noticed that. Sir Angel of York came through with a $20 super chat saying, do you think Harold is to Rox as to what Oden was to Roger? It seems like he is most likely there to recruit Harold, and it certainly would be an interesting parallel. Okay. Also, Fidel's in chat? Huh? Hello? Fidel, you don't read One Piece. Get the hell out of here, Fidel. You're a gamer friend. Get out of here. You shouldn't be here right now. You're getting spoiled on the series, okay? I don't want to have to explain to people that you're a wiki reader, Fidel, all right? Go start with chapter 1, read One Piece from the beginning, catch up like my trainer did. Jimmy the trainer, shout out to Jimmy. Jimmy has been watching One Piece every single day for a year and a half. He's now almost completely caught up. He's about to enter the Egghead arc for the first time, all right? Be like Jimmy, don't be like Fidel. Fidel, go read from chapter 1 or watch from episode 1 and then come back. Otherwise, I never want to see you in one of my One Piece streams ever again, Fidel. You show up for the gaming streams, I never want to see you on a One Piece stream. You wiki reader. All right. Anyway, I love you, buddy. All right. Meanwhile, $20 donation from Sir Angel of York saying, do you think Harold is to Rox what Oden was to Roger? It seems that he is most likely there to recruit Harold, and it would certainly be interesting parallels. I do not think that Harold is to Rox what Oden was to Roger. No, because I think Harold would never go along with the agenda of Rox that we've seen in the story already. We saw how splintered Rox became after the formation of the Rox Pirates. Harold was also never brought up in any of the previous instances with the Rox Pirates either. So my assumption is that Harold never does join. I guess if you want to make the argument that he's like the Oden to Roger, to Rox, excuse me, I feel like you could maybe, It depends on the next couple chapters, right? Like if Harold travels with him for a little bit prior to the formation of the Rocks Pirates and finds out more about the truth of the world government, or Harold comes to, to meet him in Elbaf, because we know he's here now. Like, why wouldn't Xebec interact with them here in Elbaf? I feel like there's going to be a lot of lore that gets dumped on us. We're going to find out more about that incident at that reverie 56 years ago. We're going to find out the royal who helped him, and that'll be that. But I'm also wondering if maybe all these stories connect even closer together in a way that we're not expecting. In which maybe, like, Rox is secretly a royal, and maybe was the one that helped him and went and murdered the admirals and knows the truth about the world or something. I think that's less likely. Like, I don't see a world in which Rox would be a royal, knowing, like, the themes of the story. But I think it could be interesting that the final villain of the series, which I'm assuming is still Blackbeard, which, in turn, carrying on the will of Rox, all this other stuff. I think it could be interesting. If it's still sort of somebody involved with the world government in some way. Yeah. Could be Rox looking to have Harold do him a favor in return for Rox helping him escape from the reverie. Could be that, for sure. Yeah, could definitely be that. Especially the whole thing with, like, Full Lead Island and Blackbeard wanting nothing more than, like, having Full Lead actually be part of the world government and be acknowledged as a king. Like, I think there's a weird connection there, like a desire to be one of them, despite the fact that he would never be welcomed by them. I don't know. That's a whole topic for a different video, I feel like. But I don't think he is to Rox what Odin was to Roger, but I do think you're maybe on the right track with the idea of them, like, working together temporarily. Yeah. Tech Zero came through with the $5 donation, literally just going, we're so back. Awesome reveal and awesome chapter. Thank you very much, Tech Zero. Nakama. Greatly appreciate that. Also, we're getting to super chats. Don't worry, Cognitive Dissonance. We're still reading through them. We got so many this week. We're still getting through them. Okay. Forever Nami came through and said, I was a firm believer in Rox being Blackbeard's dad, so this was honestly great. And I also want to ask you, do you think the Galley-La band could have built Pluton and made the blueprints that Tom had? Yes, if you go back to my review section of today's video, I sort of went over my idea for, like, where the Galley-La giants are, which is inside the ice within Punk Hazard. I talked about the whole thing with Galley-La, the logo looking like a Viking ship. So I absolutely positively do think there's a connection there, and I do think that Pluton originates from Elbaf. Yes, 100%. Yes, yes, yes. Even if it's currently in Old Wano, even if Crocodile thought it was in Alabasta, right? Even if for a time the blueprints were in Water 7, I think it originated from here. Yeah, for sure. But don't worry about it. We're going to get to it, Cognitive. Don't worry about it. All right. Terry Brown came through with a super chat saying, thank you so much for pushing back the time you do your stream reviews. I love reading alone at first and then rereading it with you. So thank you very much for that. Again, this has been a huge success, moving it to 9 a.m. We are definitely going to keep it at 9 a.m. The fact that we've had 2,000 viewers during the chapter reaction, we're doing the super chats, we still have 1,500 viewers over on Twitch, plus we've got all the viewership, over on YouTube, plus we've got all the viewership over on Twitch. Like, yeah, this is definitely a huge success doing it later in the day. We've got another 300 people watching over on Twitch in addition to watching on YouTube. So no doubt about it, we're keeping it like this. I'll make the announcement in a video later in the week, but absolutely positively the 9 a.m. time slot definitely works. Yeah, it's working out very, very well. So thank you once again, everybody, for coming through. And I'm happy, again, that you're able to read the chapter first and then read with all of me. Let me see what this says. Harold and Sneak are two worlds that should never be in the same sentence. Right, because, again, he's huge. That's why I'm like, who helps him sneak in? How did he sneak in? Like, did he find a different entrance underneath Marijoa? Was he shrunken? Like, what happened there? Yeah, very interesting stuff. Okay. All right, let's see. Scott Johnstone super chatted and said, I'm not honestly a huge One Piece lore head, but honestly seeing Roger get so excited about all the lore drops this chapter was both heartwarming and awesome. Thank you, Scott. Appreciate that. Again, Nakama, goated. Love to see you in here. Thank you very, very much. We also got Clax super chatting saying we had almost this was a long time ago. This was at 9:30 a.m. This is how backed up we are with super chats. We got Clax saying almost 2,000 viewers here for the reaction right beforehand. Thank you, Clax. Appreciate it. We got Gems Gemsbach, I hope I'm saying your name right, super chatting saying, Roger, this was an incredible chapter, very, very peak, and I want to know, what are your thoughts on Whitebeard, knowing that Blackbeard was Rox's son, and that being another reason why he joined? I'm actually really glad you brought that up, because that was something that I wanted to bring up when we saw Whitebeard there in Elbaf with him, pre-Rox Pirates. Whitebeard, we know this about him. He said this when Squard stabbed him back in Marineford. He's reiterated this on multiple times over the course of what we saw of his life in One Piece, right? He said on multiple occasions, he considers all his crewmates his son, right? He considers them all his children. So I am wondering if he knew that Rox either abandoned or used his son, right? And he wanted to give Rox's son a better life. Having left the Rox Pirates, having known what Rox was like back in the day, to say, no, you don't deserve this. I want to give you a better opportunity. Come be with me. Be one of my crewmates. Live on my ship. Yeah. So I do love the idea that Whitebeard knew. In fact, I think there's no doubt about it that Whitebeard knew that Xebec was the father of Blackbeard. No doubt about it. 110% no doubt about it, he knew. Yeah. I'm going to lock that in. Especially because at this point within the story, at the end of the chapter, it literally says father of Blackbeard. And this is way back when. 48 years ago. Because, hold on, let's look up Blackbeard again. At the time of his birth. This was 48 years. Blackbeard, One Piece. Marshall D. Teach. Okay. Current. Oh, wait a minute. He's 40 post time skip. And this, with Loki, was 48 years ago. So he's not even going to be born for another 8 years. Maybe there is potentially then a possibility that Whitebeard doesn't know. I feel like he's got to know. You take one look at Xebec's face, you're going to figure it out. You know what I mean? I think there's no question. You look at him and you're like, that's Blackbeard. He's got to know. I'm saying Whitebeard's got to know. Keep in mind that Shanks is also 40, has a twin, and that Blackbeard and Buggy are both 40 as well. Bro, this Buggy Blackbeard agenda, if there's twins Shamrock and Shanks, and then twins Blackbeard and Buggy, would be crazy. I swear to God, if his hair is actually black and blue, that'd be insane. I'm telling you, I would not hate it. I would actually kind of love it. I'm all for Team Bluebeard. That's crazy. You guys really think he might be Buggy's dad? That would be nuts. That would really. And then also the split, right, of like Shanks and Buggy going in one direction with Roger. Then you've got Blackbeard ending up presumably in God Valley, right, where we saw him sitting with the moon, and then Whitebeard adopting him, and then Blackbeard as well with Teach and him becoming a Yonko, and then Blackbeard and Buggy both becoming Yonko in present day. I'm not gonna hate it. I'm not gonna go against it. I'm gonna take the series for what it is, and I'm gonna take this picture for what it is. That he is indeed the father of Blackbeard, but I'm not gonna throw out the idea of the Buggy potential connection, because I kind of love it. But I also won't hate it if it doesn't end up happening. It's one of those things that'll be funny if it ends up happening, and I'll enjoy it, but I also won't be mad if it's not true. You know what I mean? Both are totally fine. Thank you again for your donation. Appreciate it. We got Jamie Usher coming through with the super chat saying, was Full-A-Lead an official kingdom before being a pirate island? Maybe Rox was a king or pirate, or maybe even a bodyguard there, which is why he was able to attend the reverie. I believe Full-A-Lead was not. I think that was the whole thing, was that Full-A-Lead was not, and that Blackbeard wanted to be part of the world government, and that Full-A-Lead was always sort of like the pirate hideout. So no, I don't believe that Full-A-Lead was an official kingdom. I'm not going to throw away the idea that maybe Rox does have some type of like celestial dragon world government connection, but no, I don't think that's the case. No. let me see here. Will of Davy came through and said, the Punk Hazard Giants and Galley-La, the Sea Kings talking about them needing to rebuild the Noah, the callback to Devon and Saturn about Blackbeard, that he's special, it's in his blood, chills. This connection about rocks was awesome. Totally, 100% agree. Fantastic. Mike Moore came through with a super chat saying, freezing things might also have a deeper meaning, because why freeze the giant straw hat? Why would Kuzan be in the endgame plan? What did Kuzan do to freeze Garp when he froze Marshall D. Saul? What's going on with the frozen giants in Punk Hazard? Again, a lot of connection with ice. I brought this up earlier in this chapter, the stuff with Loki, and potentially the sun god Devil Fruit being that of an actual sun, and maybe potentially Loki being the one to thaw the ice of his predecessors would be a kind of cool way for a redemption arc for Loki. So I think Loki's Devil Fruit might come into play in some way. Or again, of course, an even more obvious one, Luffy's, right? Luffy being the actual sun god, being the liberator. Loki maybe being with him, tying everything into Luffy, freeing all of them, for sure. Yeah. So I totally think that it has a deeper meaning. 100%. Yeah. Yeah, I think you're meant to as well. I feel like Oda's putting this stuff in here so the reader reads more into it. I cannot believe we've been going for an hour and a half already. We haven't even gotten to the anime episode. This is insane. There's just so much about this chapter to talk about. All right, let me keep going. Lykesh came through with the super chat and said, Emu wants to build a giant circle connecting the bridges. He's been building it for 700 years. Maybe Emu wants the giants to build it? You're talking about Tequila Wolf? And like all the bridges that the slaves are building around? Oh, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. That Emu potentially wants the giants from Elbaf to build the bridges around the world. As like, I see. And with also the whole thing with Harold saying he wants to connect people where they're free, that maybe that is the truth that Harold learned from the world government that maybe allowed them to work with him and that they screwed up the whole plan. I see what you're saying. That if Harold's dream is to connect the world where giants can live freely and was maybe poisoned with a lie from the world government saying we're going to do this by building these giant bridges around the world, but in actuality are just using the giants as slaves. I see what you're saying. I actually don't hate that idea. I think that's kind of a good idea. Yeah, it's kind of a good idea. I don't hate that, Lakesh. Look Into It also said Whitebeard has become the world's strongest orphan collector. It's kind of a weird way to put it, but you're not wrong. Moadi said, do you think that Rox, aka Teach, could also be of Buccaneer blood? Sure. Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to... Sure. I mean, we're obviously getting the stuff with the Buccaneers with Kuma right now, and I don't really think they look like Buccaneers, but then again, there could be half Buccaneers and all kinds of other stuff going on with the story. So, yeah. Yeah, I'm not going to rule that out. That could be a possibility. Blackbeard honestly does flip the core themes of the story of both Fawn family and inherited will. While most inherit other will, he just kills his found family and chases his own. Wait. Well, hold on. Blackbeard flips the core themes of found family and inherited will, while most... Oh, yes, because of... Okay. I thought you were talking about Rox. I was like, wait a minute, I don't think Blackbeard's killed Rox. No, you're talking about Thatch and obviously his found family within Whitebeard. Yes. Well, again, Blackbeard is meant to be the villain of the series. Blackbeard is meant to be the parallel on the opposite side of the spectrum to Luffy, right? Luffy and the pies with Blackbeard and the desserts and all. I mean, of course, for sure. I got it though. I'm connecting the dots. Yeah, cognitive, I got what you were saying, for sure. And I completely agree. It is absolutely a flip on the core themes of the story. Malcolm Dean came through. And so the way that Oda drew Rock's fingers almost makes it seem like he's about to do shambles with Law's fruit. What? Oh, with the like... Oh! I'm formulating it in my head right now. I got two questions. One, we assume that Emu at some point within history was granted the immortality fruit and the immortality surgery. But We don't know who did it. We don't know why. We don't know when. Is there a possibility with the personality transplant and it being a permanent surgery that kills the user? Could there be a possibility that Xebec had the op fruit and implanted his own personality permanently into Blackbeard? And that Blackbeard has, that's like, oh, see, because now I'm like, okay, hold on. Actually, this random offhand super chat got me thinking. That, to me, would be much more likely if he used the surgery on his own son, just to show how evil he is, and somehow found a way to implant himself within him to allow his will to live on. And that's why Blackbeard can't sleep, because Xebec is inside him. I don't hate that idea. I actually kind of love that idea that the previous owner was Xebec. Because the Yami Yami no Mi thing, we know that Blackbeard wanted it. He knew there was a power behind the fruit. I do think there is still a connection there. But I don't hate the idea of the op fruit being previously owned by Xebec. Because I'm looking at something else on this page right now. On this page, on page 16, I thought nothing of this when I read it. I was just thinking it was meant to show their strength. But we see the mountain get sliced in Elbaf. We see the icy mountain get sliced through in half. Very reminiscent of a story arc we just brought up today with Punk Hazard and Law breaking the gear and slicing the island in half. If Xebec at this point in time has the op fruit and is slicing mountains in half like Law is slicing mountains in half, I think I don't hate the idea, and I'm not going to rule out the possibility that he was indeed the owner. Blonde, my chat, is saying if he removed his heart, we know that it doesn't kill the user or anyone's heart once it's removed. Maybe he put his, maybe it wasn't even personality. Maybe, oh! Thank you very much, whoever just super chatted. Maybe you're right. Maybe it's not even his personality. Maybe Xebec's heart is literally inside of Blackbeard. Because they said it was a weird thing going on with his body. And, oh my god, dude. I just came to a realization. When Kid was fighting Shanks and Garp was fighting Kuzan, who was fighting Blackbeard? Law. Why did Law choose to go after Blackbeard? Law specifically, why in the story did he put Law against Blackbeard? He could have had other opponents. He could have showed other characters. Maybe he knows. Maybe he knows as the surgeon that there's some weird thing going on with Blackbeard. Because it's already, I mean, it's well known. It's well documented. He was there at Marineford. He knows about the weird body. Everybody knows about the weird body. But there's also that connection with Rockyport and Blackbeard being present there as well. Could Law have discovered during that incident the truth behind Blackbeard and potentially him having two hearts. Because that seems like, knowing how unhinged Rox is and the Rox pirates, I would not put it past him for him to put his own heart inside of his own son. But how does that work? It doesn't kill the user is the only thing, though. So Rox could have gone about his life doing other things and put his heart safely inside of Blackbeard with the surgery. But when he dies, when he actually dies, maybe he's not dead. Maybe Rox is still alive. Or he granted the immortality surgery to himself to stay alive while he put the fruit in there. There's a lot of weird stuff. I am going to say right now, I'm on board with this. I think I'm actually locking this in. I think this is my actual... I think this is what I believe. I think he's the owner of the Op-Op fruit currently at this exact point of the story. I'm going to lock that in. That's my prediction. I think that is what this is. Because now I'm thinking about all these connections with Law and Blackbeard. The stuff with the weird body. Who would be able to give us the truth about that? The surgeon. The two fingers. He did put it in a way where it looks like Law's fingers. And you get the sliced up mountain. I love this. Who sent that super chat about potentially the Op-Op fruit? Who sent that? Who was that? I gotta look this up again. Malcolm Dean, who said the way Oda drew Rock's fingers almost makes it seems like it's shambles with Law's fruit. Wow. Malcolm, yes. I'm on board. This is it. Man. This is crazy. Wow. I think you solved it. I think it is literally that he's the owner of the Op-Op fruit. Because also, wait a minute. Wait, am I looking at this correct? Hold on. Look. Wait. Everybody, open up your pages to 16 and 17 of this chapter. Look underneath Rox's beard. Look underneath Rox's beard where it's currently covered by the name Rox D. Xebec. Right here, there's a scar. There's stitches and a scar right here. Directly underneath his beard. As if he had surgery. Now, on one hand, I feel like, if you had the Op-Op fruit, you wouldn't need... there wouldn't be a scar there. But there's something cooking. There's something cooking with him now. And this Op-Op idea. Maybe it's a shadow. Maybe it is just like a drawn shadow of his abs. Maybe. But doesn't that kind of look like a scar a little bit? I guess we're not going to know for sure until the next chapter where we see more of him. But currently, it's covered by where it says Rox. Could just be that he has a hairy chest. True. Also, it could be that Shiki cut the mountain as well. Maybe. Yeah. Wow. Okay, let's keep reading. There's some more super chats coming down here. This is great. Zaro super chatted and said, by the way, in volume 112, Oda added more info to Gunko's intro box. She now has the Menmayer family and the title of Saint. We talked about that actually during the last reaction thing. Yeah, we talked about that. Shushant. Where is Shushant? Shushant came through with the super chat and said, the year Rox killed the Admiral is also the year Kizaru was born. It puts the chapter in perspective in terms of power levels of Roger and Garp. They both were labeled as Admiral killers and defeated 3 future Yonko. Again, super duper strong. And this is pre-formation of Rox Pirates. Will of Davy said, calling it now, that not only was the family of Rox D. Xebec one of the original 12 celestial families, that of Buggy is actually of a similar descent, and so is Mihawk. Well, people have talked about the idea that Mihawk is actually a celestial dragon for a long time. The buggy thing is also super goofy. But again, I don't hate it. I don't hate it at all. The potential connection with Buggy, I think it could be kind of cool. Brian Brotler, came through and said maybe the Yami Yami no Mi isn't the real name. Kind of like Luffy's fruit isn't the Gum Gum fruit. Blackbeard not being able to sleep might be explained by the fruit's real name. That is kind of what I brought up in my initial theory with Xebec when we were looking at James's thumbnail. So I think that could still be a possibility as well. That maybe the Yami Yami no Mi is also a hidden mythical. And that there is another name for the fruit that was hidden. But, man. Also, I see Slime saying... I'm not going to read that out loud. But that's very funny. Deku Gamer came through. Saying, I feel like the pose Rox has in his hand does definitely resemble Law's Shambles. But I might be looking into it too much with maybe the Op fruit. Look, I just went on a whole tangent about it for 10 minutes. So I think you might be onto something, Deku. Secret Turtle came through and said there are a few parallels between Loki and Usopp. I do think that Rox's downfall was ultimately not recruiting Loki. I mean, maybe he's going to recruit Loki for a little bit. We'll see. We don't know the full story. There's a lot that could still happen between now and Harold's death and Loki getting tied up to the tree and Shanks stopping him. There's a lot that could happen. It's 40 years of information that still has to happen that we got to see in this flashback. So, yeah, very, very, very cool stuff there. Clax also super chatted and said, it doesn't even need to be Xebec implanting his own will. It says it could be that someone else implanted Xebec into Blackbeard at his own request. Absolutely. It could be someone else, a different owner of the Op fruit that maybe Xebec forced into performing the surgery. Totally. Will of Davy also just said, I just jumped in my chair. Blackbeard feels twice the pain, 2 hearts, double the pain. Oh gosh, I love this series, and I'm sorry for my super chat spams. Don't be sorry about super chat spam. Why are you apologizing for giving me money? This is amazing. Don't apologize for nothing. Thank you. And not just thank you to all of you who have given super chats, but thank you to all of you who have been in here throughout the course of the stream so far. Nearly a 2-hour-long live stream reaction to this chapter alone. We still got to watch the anime episode. We still got other stuff to react to. Thank you very, 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 very much. Appreciate all of you. Drop your likes if you haven't already on the stream. Drop your likes on the stream. If you're not already subscribed to the YouTube channel, what are you doing? In the words of Reggie Fils-Aimé, former president of Nintendo, what's wrong with you? Subscribe, because I'm going to be back here in a week with my live reaction to the next manga chapter. Make sure to go like the stream. Make sure to subscribe. Man. All right, let us continue. Muadi came through with the super chat and said, Teach's body is definitely unique and can hold multiple devil fruits. We know that. We also know about the Kraken fruit theory that you brought up before, and the beard and 3 knots with the 3 skulls on his Jolly Roger. And then maybe with the Buccaneers. Maybe with the Buccaneers. What do you mean? The Buccaneers. Oh, are you saying that like maybe he's also implanted with the heart of a Buccaneer or something? That would be kind of interesting. I've seen the Kraken theory before. We've all talked about the Kraken theory on multiple occasions with the ideas of like the 3 hearts and the 3 skulls. And that maybe the Kraken is like what the mythical creature is that's hidden inside one of his other fruits. Or maybe he already has one. I don't know. But still, interesting stuff there. Alexandra super chatted. By the way, thank you very much, Strawhead, who just super chatted as well. Alexandra came through and said, in FMA, Ed sleeps more because he's essentially providing nutrients for both him and Alphonse's body due to their linked souls. So maybe Blackbeard being unable to sleep is something similar, and essentially Rox is feeding on his own son. That's crazy. That is crazy. Man. Absolutely crazy. Also, I understand that now because of Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, because we just did my full first ever reaction to the series, which you can go check out that video. It was earlier this year. We did a whole watch through of Full Metal Alchemist. And if you're a member here on the YouTube channel, you get full access at the Nakama tier and up to the full VODs of all of those watch through streams. So if you ever wanted to be a member, now's the time to do it. Good thing to bring that up with the Full Metal Alchemist connection. Thank you very much. Oh, Lobster clarified what Muadi said. Muadi said, oh, it wasn't that, you didn't read my chat right. I was saying that Buccaneers are essentially made of 3 races. Buccaneers have some special biological abilities except for big bodies. 3 races? What do you mean? 3? They said the Buccaneers are made of 3 races? When did they say? Am I missing something? Also, cognitive dissonance. I read yours out earlier about the flip of the core themes of the story with Luffy and Blackbeard. You might have missed it. Yeah. Look it up. How about you look it up and then tell me? Because I don't remember what you're talking about. Someone in the chat can look that up while I'm reading these other ones. I just don't remember that with the Buccaneers being made up of 3 races. All right, Sodwick came through. Oh, you said no. Never happened. All right, perfect. I was like, I don't remember that being a case at all. Sotwick came through. Sotwick256 saying peak chapter 100 out of 10. Thank you, by the way, to Chandelier Nakama for becoming a member. Greatly appreciate that. Thank you. Let me see this real quick also as well. Saying here, peak chapter 100 out of 10. Next is the Emu face reveal. I believe it. Loved your reaction to the Xebec reveal. And by the way, do you still play Genshin and will you react to the new video? I'm going to be doing a Genshin subathon, uncapped subathon stream. Not this month, but the beginning of next month, catching up to Genshin. So I will be catching up relatively soon. If you're looking for that, stay tuned. There will be a Genshin stream next month where I'm catching up to the entire current story up to, I'm assuming you're still in Nordcry. So yeah, definitely going to be getting there. And I'll react to the new videos when I get to there for sure. So thank you very much. Straw Hat X came through and said, I think Emu's fruit is actually related to Lilith, aka the mother of demons. Lilith was Adam's first wife who got kicked out for not wanting to be subservient. The Lilith connection is potentially interesting. I still think Emu's fruit is that of the devil. I'm pretty like staunchly on that until they prove otherwise. I feel like it is literally the devil fruit. With the tail being able to possess other people, the abyss tattoos, granting other things. I do feel like that's got to be the case. Yeah. I feel like that's got to be the case. Also, again, thank you for all these super chats. I'm getting all of these. Thank you. Wow. Incredible chapter this week. Wow. Roberto said, I forgot to say that when I read this chapter and I saw Xebec's face, I jumped out of my chair just like you. I punched my metal closet. It hurt, but it was worth it. Why did you punch your closet, bro? Get yourself a pillow, Sama. Don't punch your walls. Don't punch your closets. Not good. You're going to hurt yourself. I don't want you to hurt yourself with your reactions to these chapters, Roberto. Papa Paul also super chatted and said, all right, well, now you've heard of the black hair and blue hair theory with Buggy and with Blackbeard. But wait until we see rocks with the actual chop fruit. Bro, could you imagine if that's what's going on? That he's got the chop fruit and it's the awakening and that's what's going on with the mountain? Bro. By the way, 10 out of 10 chapter. As a European, I often miss your streams. Happy to be here and thank you for the time change. You got it. I'm glad it worked. I'm glad it's working for everyone. This is very, very good. Happy to hear it. Straw Hat and Zidon said, actually, they're cooking, though. That's a peak theory. Man. Mackenzie also said, I once punched my laptop screen because my chemistry was pissing me off, and it was definitely not worth it. I don't think I've actually punched anything that I own at all. Yeah. I don't think I've punched anything whatsoever. Now, other than pillows. I've punched pillows, but that's because obviously it's not going to hurt the pillow. I've thrown pillows on stream, but I've never actually like broken anything. Yeah, I've never gotten so mad in which I've like punched through a wall or a computer screen or thrown a controller or nothing like that. Yeah, just pillows. Yeah, things that aren't going to get damaged. Yeah. So Faison, hey, I see you in Twitch saying, honestly, this has been 2 hours. You should write a dissertation about One Piece after the series concludes. Honestly, I might. Buddy, I might. I might write a whole dissertation about how these things connect and, you know, what happened here and how this is such a goated story. I might. Also, great to see you in here, Faison. Thanks for coming through. I can't get over how many viewers we have over on YouTube and on Twitch today. This is great. Viewers across the board. Thank you. Roberto said, my brain was honestly not thinking at the precise moment that I punched my metal closet. It just kind of happened. It's just bam right in. How does that just kind of happen, though? Well, unless you were going like, oh my God, and you were sitting right next to it and then you punched it. I could see that happening. More than you accidentally punched it and then hurt yourself. Well, hopefully your hand's okay. Hopefully you're fine. Also, Ghoulie says, you had so much hype during this chapter, and now you're just going to cry for Kuma later today. Well, we will be watching the Kuma anime episode right after this stream portion is over. We're going to be over on Twitch watching the Kuma episode, and I will be uploading that final Kuma episode as a live reaction to the channel as well. So don't even worry about it. If you can't make it to Twitch right after this, don't worry about a thing. I will be uploading that as a separate video as soon as this YouTube stream is done, and as soon as that Twitch stream is done. It'll be uploaded there. Yeah. Do you think Luffy's eventually going to fight Emu? Most definitely. That's going to happen next story arc, if not this story arc. With the way that Elbaf is working right now and the pace at which we're moving, I really think God Knights, Celestial Dragons, characters here in Elbaf are the bad guys we take down within Elbaf. Moving into Final War, we got the remaining God Knights and Emu. Moving into Laugh Tale, free for all among the Yonko for the One Piece. And that's it. Brings us to the ending. Yeah. Also, War, your hair is longer? It is longer. I got to get a haircut. I'm getting a haircut later this week. It got super long. I literally said the same thing. I was obviously out all weekend. I went to go see Jurassic Park. I went to go see Superman. I've been doing a whole bunch of other stuff, trying to avoid what's been going on online because I didn't want to see any spoilers for the chapter. And I was like, man, my hair really did get very long. So grow it like Xebec? No way. No, I definitely want to get it cut. Yeah. Definitely want to get it cut. 4 Mil is saying grow it out. I'm not going to grow it out. How about if you grow it out, you're going to look like a rock star? Look, you guys want me to grow it out? I'll make it a sub goal or something. I'll make it a sub goal. It's like maybe we'll do it like a member goal or something, grow my hair out. I don't know, but otherwise, I'm good. Also off topic, but what did you think of those movies? I liked Superman and I liked Jurassic World. I thought they were both good. I think both had issues. I think Jurassic World had a couple little stupid things in it, but I think for the most part was overall just a good time and was certainly better than the last like 3 or 4 Jurassic Park movies. This one I think was on the level of like the very first Jurassic World. I actually like the one, I mean the second Jurassic World. I liked the one with the auction house. Is that Fallen Kingdom? I liked Fallen Kingdom. The one with the auction house with the raptors where they were trying to like auction off the dinosaurs. I don't think that was the first Jurassic World. I think that was the second Jurassic World. I liked that one. I hated Jurassic World Dominion with like the locusts and everything. I thought that one was so stupid. And them bringing back the other characters. But I liked all the characters in the main cast in this new one. And there's a couple little stupid things that I won't go into spoilers because I'm sure many of you haven't seen it yet. There's a couple little stupid things. But I think for the most part, this one was a really good time. I really enjoyed myself with this one. I thought the CG was quite good. I loved the sequence with the T-Rex in the water. I loved all the stuff with, well, I'm not going to get into that. But like, there's good stuff in this one. I really enjoyed this Jurassic World. And then I liked Superman, but I didn't like it as much as I was expecting to like Superman. I think I'd heard a lot of people hyping that movie up, being like, it's so good, you're going to love it. And I feel like, excuse me for a second, let me get some water. I've been going for 2 hours, so you got to excuse me on here. Without getting into spoilers at all, I don't want to spoil people on Superman. Excuse me. I feel like the 3 core actors, the guy who's playing Superman, the actress who plays Lois Lane, and the guy who played Lex Luthor are all fantastic. All 3 of them are very, 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 very good. All of them are good. But I feel like the movie doesn't spend enough time with Superman and spends a lot of time with these characters that I have no desire to find out more about. I'm not going to get into spoilers again, but there's a fight scene midway through the movie with another side character that's cool, but feels totally out of a different movie. It's like we're not even in Superman right now. Like, why are we doing this? There's like no point for it. And there's like a lot of other stuff that like I realized I just don't really like the humor of James Gunn. I think he's a good director. I think he shoots the movie well and he writes the movie well. The character beats were like on point. Like, this is a Superman you can believe in. But I feel like the humor is without spoiling anything, is injected in points where there should not be humor in the new Superman movie. There's a part in particular I'm thinking of, again, no spoilers, with a conversation between Lois Lane and Superman that happens, that in the background of this heartfelt conversation, you've got like a stupid gag happening with characters fighting like an alien from outer space with like these rainbow sound, visual effects and stuff. And it felt totally out of place. It felt like I said, like it was something out of a Guardians movie. But I feel like when it hits, the movie really hits. I feel like the movie overall was very good. And I think I like it more than pretty much anything DC's done in a very long time. Like, I liked the first Aquaman and I liked the first Superman. I liked Man of Steel. I liked those two. And I think this new Superman is on the level of those two, if not better in some regards. But it's definitely better than all the other recent DC stuff. I still say, though, with where I am currently, I think if I had to rank superhero movies so far, if I'm being honest, I still think I liked Thunderbolts earlier this year more than Superman, but I think it's because I went into Thunderbolts with no expectation whatsoever. I went into Thunderbolts thinking it was going to be terrible and just using my free little AMC pass for whatever, and then being very surprised and really liking Thunderbolts. And Thunderbolts, I felt weirdly enough, considering the fact that that's a Marvel movie, and Marvel movies always have the problem that I just said. I feel like Thunderbolts felt more grounded than Superman did. Oh, I did like the Batman. Oh, that's right. I did love the Batman. The Matt Reeves Batman is awesome. Love that movie. Yes. Oh, thank you for bringing that up. I totally forgot about that. I loved the Batman. Yeah. I thought Robert Pattinson was a really good Batman. Yeah, that whole movie was great. The Batman was awesome. Yes. Yeah. I hope that Batman gets to interact with this Superman. Because this Superman, he's like hopeful and kind of corny, and he's great. I like in a good way. I don't mean corny in a bad way. He's corny in a good way. And I think that with like Pattinson's brooding Batman could make for a really good movie. So yeah, that'd be neat. That would definitely be neat. Also, we got another super chat. Sorry to go off on this tangent. We got another super chat from Lucifer, who says, now it makes sense why Blackbeard knows a lot about devil fruits and why he knows how to steal devil fruits from other users. Because maybe Rox lives inside of his son. That's still so crazy. That to think that op fruit thing that somebody brought up led to all of that. It's crazy. Yeah. Man, what a good chapter. Yeah, and again, I recommend for anybody who's like interested in Superman or Jurassic World, I think both of them were quite good. Yeah, I think they're honestly both good. I enjoyed myself for both of them. I think they both have stupid aspects, but they were both like genuinely a really good time. Yeah. I am more into the Jurassic Park franchise than I am into like superhero movies for the most part. So I like Jurassic Park slightly more, but I think Superman is probably the better made film, if that makes sense. You know, I think the writing in Superman was better, and I liked the main three actors in Superman, and I like what it's going to set up for the future of DC. So, but I like them both. I'd recommend if you're looking for good movies, I don't think you can go wrong with either of them. I thought they were both quite good. Yeah. What'd you think of the Donkey Kong movie being confirmed? What? The Donkey Kong movie being confirmed? What are you talking about? They announced the Donkey Kong movie? Wait, Donkey Kong. Wait, what? Oh, what? As of 1 hour ago. Oh my God, this is confirmed. Oh, it's on public record. The copyright for a Donkey Kong movie has been registered by Universal. Public record, copyright.gov, U.S. Copyright Office. Public record, Universal Pictures, Nintendo Studios. Untitled Donkey Kong Project Motion Picture. Oh, let's go, bro! Perfect timing considering Bonanza's happening this week, too. Wow! That's going to be... I'm going to go into a whole different tangent. That's for a whole different video. We'll talk about that more. I'm going to let this process... I got to still process this One Piece chapter. We still got to watch the One Piece episode. That is fire. I'll talk about that more on my Donkey Kong streams coming up this week. Because obviously I'm going to be streaming Bonanza later this week. We're going to be playing Donkey Kong 3. Excuse me, I'm blowing my voice out with this chapter. We're going to be watching the Donkey Kong Country show. There's so much going on here. Either way, this was one of the best One Piece chapters of the year. Absolutely loved this one. We gotta watch. It's been 2 hours. I gotta move on. I can't get to other questions. We gotta move on. We gotta get to the anime episode. We have to. Because I gotta get all this stuff up. I gotta make sure. Well, I'll table some of the Nakama questions. Maybe I'll throw it into a different thing. But we don't have time. It's been 2 hours already. And I gotta do the anime reaction. This has already gone way longer than I was expecting. But I appreciate. We're gonna get to them later. We're not gonna get to the non-comic questions now. We don't have time to do it. There were too many. There's too many other things. We'll get to them later. I'll do a separate stream or something. Maybe we'll do a second stream and read the other non-comic questions and still talk about this chapter before the next one comes out, because there's a lot of stuff. This stream has been huge. Also, Mawadi said, I lied. The Buccaneers are part of the 3 races that endangered Buccaneers, Lunarians, and Three-Eyed Tribe. Oh, so you read what they were saying about the Buccaneers incorrectly before. Buccaneers are part of the 3 races that were endangered. Buccaneers, Lunarians, and Three-Eyes. Buccaneers are said to be of the original giant descent, though. Rox is in the land of giants, and we had to speak of the ancient giants during the stuff that happened earlier with the Galley-La company. Okay, good to bring that up. Okay, bro, there were just so much going on, so many questions, so many theories, so many super chats. Thank you all once again. Again, I'm going to end the stream on the YouTube side, but we are continuing over on Twitch right now with my live reaction to the new episode of One Piece, the Kuma flashback. So everybody, I'm going to send a link on over, twitch.tv/RogersBase. Here we go. If you haven't already, like the stream. I'll pin this. Absolutely goated stream today. Thank you all for being here. Like, comment, subscribe, and until next time, I'll talk to you guys later. Nakam! Take care, everybody over on YouTube. Come join us on Twitch, or you can just wait an hour and I'm going to upload the reaction on YouTube too to the new chapter. I mean, the new episode, excuse me. So take care, everybody. Have a good one, and I'll see you all next week. No break. And Donkey Kong. Donkey Kong and a new chapter. It's peak, bro. Absolutely.